lands 1.5 billion shillings, and this continues apace even as we wait for the closure of the summit. What other jurisdictions also will be pledging as far as the kitty is concerned? But the question that we're raising with the senators is how this particular funding will be accounted for when we know it is going to for the community resilience as well. Remember also from the COP27 there was a stash of money that was given to enable the fight or the mitigations of climate change. But how do we account for these monies? Is this also a spawning ground for corruption from the counties? And we were hearing from Tabitha Mutinda on this as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dibal. And we had left it at where I was talking about the committees. And I mentioned and said it's a good thing. It will be a good thing if we would have the climate, committees, both National Assembly and Senate,
dedicated to climate change.
Dedicated to it, putting in one of the key mandates to be the oversight and also implementation of the focuses that are being championed matters climate change. So it will be a good thing in general. I wanted to touch on what my colleagues had mentioned earlier. One of the issues was the case for Dr. Mondi. And for me, I'm looking at it on both perspectives in terms of nature. At times, things are beyond the human nature. If rains have been excessive, then why is it a government issue? But at the same time, the government is coming in and championing for more tree planting for the future, just not now. So we have to look at it from both perspectives, but it brings a bigger discussion moving forward in future. But at the same time, on the same case, I hear my colleagues who come from the other side of the coalition talk about, let this case come, let us have this. And also I note that, they like cases, and they like when the government is being questioned so much, and we are used to this, some of these strategies, and that's why they might want to look at it that particular perspective. And like my colleague Mugatana who mentioned about, force majeure, and it's nature. All said, the issue of the logging, lifting of the logging, one of our key manifestos was talking about buy Kenya, build Kenya, buy Kenya. And the president has really championed in terms of local manufacturing. And one of the reasons for the lifting of the logging was to ensure that we support our local manufacturers of the furniture. Instead of so much importation of the same, we can be able to support our local manufacturers here as far as the furniture is concerned. And that was one of the reasons. But you see, at times they want to make it look the other way round. Why has this lifting taken place? But it's for us to be able to support our local manufacturers. Article 69 of the Constitution has talked about what the state shall do. And I've looked at all these clauses. For example, when they talk about ensure sustainable exploitation, ensure equitable sharing, and accruing benefits. This is what we're talking about, the counties receiving funds, and that is equal benefits to all the counties. At the same time, work to achieve and maintain tree cover. That is what we are talking about in terms of the 15 billion within the 5 years. Patsy talks about protect and enhance intellectual property.
You're failing. Don't you think also it beats the purpose for that? If you had given maybe a window of time for the planting of the trees so that you realize that particular dream of the 15 billion trees that we want to achieve.
Yes, and that's what we're saying, Dibal, 15 billion within the 5 years. Okay, so we have a plan and we have a strategy, and we've given it a duration, because you know very well, even in tree germination, there's no tree that will grow within a day, a month. There is a process, there's a germination that has to take place, and that's why I'm saying we've been able to achieve, as far as Article 69 is concerned, what it states. And some of those things, as Part B have said, in terms of a tree cover, at least 10% of the land area of Kenya. Part D, encourage public participation. This is where we are. What are we doing? We are talking matters climate change, matters environment. Protect genetic resources and biological diversity, establish systems of environment impact. The bill, the climate change amendment bill, that talks about the policies, the framework in terms of the revenue in regards to carbon credits. All these things are already in our constitution. But what is more beautiful is that we've been able to achieve or even if not achieved fully, but we are in the process, because every journey has to start with one step. And we've been able to have this discussion. We've been able to put the frameworks in place, the policies in place, and we are moving very well as far as matters environment are concerned. I had my colleagues also talk about, oh, you know, these electric bikes, these electric cars, then where do we charge? You know, for Christ's sake, we need to know that establishments take time. What has been put in place is that, yes, we've been able now to get to a point that we have this commodity, we have this product. We have to make it, we have to market it. There has to be awareness. There's a process for that. There's a timeline for that. And in that same timeline, there's also going to be establishment of the same electrical. So I expect them to continue encouraging. These matters, climate change, do not affect a specific community or a specific coalition. It affects us as a country. It affects us as a whole. It is a high time, as we are championing matters climate change, we should be able to appreciate and say that moving forward, we want to see also in the mashinani level, in the ward level, that somebody can be able to charge their bike, somebody can be able to charge, but not just saying, then where is the charge? It is us as leaders to be able to say, we have these areas that this can be done. We can start from within the cities, going back to the mashinani, and in the long run, we'll be able to achieve the bigger coverage as far as the electric gadgets are concerned moving forward. Yeah.
Thank you. Even as you're finalizing on this, I wanted just to raise the issue, especially where the West comes to the country to invest, and sometimes maybe we don't really interrogate very robustly what is their interest when they're coming to invest in this country. Of course, their national interest comes first. When we had the Volkswagen plant being commissioned in Thika, everyone was applauding, of course, the good salutary effort that this plant was being put up in this country under President Uhuru Kenyatta's and Deputy President William Ruto's regime, that is going to spur economic growth, job creation at the end of the day. But did we ask questions on why Volkswagen was coming to actually put up this plant here in the first place? Because we globally, everyone was following what was happening with the Volkswagen's cars and the defeat mechanism they were putting in the engines, where we had the cheating that was going on, especially when it comes what you're talking about, measuring the emissions that is coming from the carbon dioxide that is coming from these particular vehicles, monoxide that is coming from these particular vehicles, that is not really the true amount that is actually showcased, because they've put some gadgets that can actually, they call it the defeat mechanism. And then we saw there was a whole yard of cars from Volkswagen that could not go anywhere, because now the Americans could not be sold in America or in Europe because of that particular scandal. Yet here in the country, we embraced and said all these cars, I stand to be corrected because I just wanted to learn, should actually be assembled here. Did we have, as NEMA, then enough capacity to interrogate if this defeat mechanism were actually deployed here in the country or dumped here in the country? And this exacerbates and also contributes to the pollution that we are in. Is it a question that since it has gone, it can be revisited and reviewed, whether the system here, they are as genuine as they are being questioned in America, and why we have these plants here? So for us, we'll see it's a good thing, but what is the flip side of it to us?
I think it's all about systems, the bad, and how vigilant a government is. Because in a country where the system is working, where we have oversight bodies that are keen to detail, some of these things cannot happen. But it's not about politics. We're just stating facts the way they are. Kenya Bureau of Standards has been a big disappointment. You have seen even sugar. Kenyans have consumed poisonous sugar. unleashed to the market. We have seen the report on maize, aflatoxin. Last Senate, we were looking at maize that was released to the market with alarming amounts of aflatoxin. The issue you have raised about Volkswagen is that we as a country always drop the ball. We don't put in place at our entry border points, systems that ensure that we get the best. If you look at international standards of audit now, financial audits, environment is one of the key reporting areas. You need to report. If you are reporting to the government about systems that you have put in place to ensure that our country is secure, then you should be able to report the investors who have come in. Are they coming in with investments that are environment friendly, or they are posing danger to our environment? That's what the Americans do, and that's what we don't do here. People who are designing roads, I don't know how we are doing it here. People are designing roads in other countries now.
Right, let me just interrupt a bit, and you can see some of the delegates arriving there at the KICC. Wow, and all right, I almost thought this is heavily raining there. It is actually from the fountains there, so they're not being rained on. For a moment, I wanted to say, oh my goodness. Right, the president of Tanzania, that is Samia Suluhu, has arrived so far, and other delegates continue to, of course, get into Kenyatta International Convention Center. Shaky pictures, of course, that is a joy of live TV when you're trying to get to your best angle as well. And there you are. We'll be giving you more details of what is happening inside the plenary as well. As soon as that commences, then we shall be crossing over there to just give you a wall-to-wall, blow-to-blow coverage of what is happening at the KICC today, being the second day, where we shall also be hearing from the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who recently said, the world has gravitated from global warming. We are now in the global boiling, right? So this is global boiling, and this is a message that he'll be carrying over also, of course, to this summit. We are in a global boiling moment. We can see cultural entertainers as they are also waiting, standing at the ready just to entertain delegates as they continue streaming in for the second day. So we're just listening and having conversation around climate change, and also what the Senate can do, or now that we have goodies or monies coming their way to the country's 44 billion shillings a boost, and that one is bound to tick up even as we continue to observe and see what other jurisdictions will be also pledging more monies to fight climate change. So, Senator Okongo Morgan, I hope you've not lost your track of thought.
Yeah, no. So I was saying that, when we design even our roads, I think in California now they are using remote control taxis, electric, with no drivers. But the roads have been made in such a way that they can accommodate those kind of vehicles. So
the smart roads, yeah.
The smart roads. Mm-hmm. So we are still thinking like in the last century, while the world has moved, and they are doing all these things because the first consideration is to protect the environment. The issue of talking about charging points, that's how you create a motivating environment for people to even replace their cars. Or bikes. What other countries have done, like UK, they have actually created a tax incentive for tax operators who are migrating from to full electric vehicles. Even us, you can put an incentive if we want to import full electric vehicles. It's the government to come up with those proposals and encourage us to replace our vehicles. That's how you become proactive. This is the discussion that is ongoing here. I was surprised actually. My son told me he has moved to become a vegetarian, and he says it's one of the ways. Climate change, and I challenge you.
With the methane as well.
Yes, yeah. So the little
you can start from where you are.
Yes,
this should be a good motivation for you.
Very true.
Eating meat. So the little things that we do, this younger generation actually are ahead of us. It's the little things that we do that are important. We need to see a government that puts its foot down and says, if you are an investor coming to the country, we do a serious audit. You know, like this case you are giving of Volkswagen, you should not play the lesser boys in this game. Let's assume that we are also in the big boys club, whereby anybody coming in, we should ensure that anything that is coming through our borders is not posing any risk to our environment. That's the only way to go. It must begin with the government taking one step, then tomorrow another one. That way, then we progress with time.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
I wanted to say something.
Please, do say something about that development.
The Volkswagen. Yes. I wanted to say, you are making a very heavy point. The point you are making is that we need to stop being too desperate about investments that are coming. We need to put some more, systems, like my colleague here, Senator Okongo Mogeng, is saying. I agree with you that our systems sometimes are not as developed as the systems that are in Europe or America or China. But we have to start from somewhere. We have to start from somewhere. When we see these problems, industries that are coming here need to meet certain basic standards. I think it's a good conversation that we need to have, and I'm sure the relevant ministry, trade, is listening. CS Moses Kuria has been a very proactive investment trade secretary, cabinet secretary, and he has been going all over talking about the need for new investments to come, including what you're talking about, the Volkswagen. Now, in Mombasa the other day, we were talking about opening or expanding the Tata industry, motor vehicle manufacturing in Mombasa. We are talking about creating a zone that will be for manufacturing. And he's very big on that, and I congratulate him. I think he's one of the very proactive cabinet secretary. But we need also to talk about the standards in terms of those guys who are bringing investment. What are their emission standards? What are their products looking like? Are they going to harm our environment? I think that he has not been big on, but he has been big on bringing investment to the country. So it's a conversation that the ministry needs to have, whether the investors who are coming here, are they also meeting the international based standards, so that our country doesn't go down that direction. But I wanted to make another point. You have asked this question several times. How does Senate oversight these funds, these climate change funds, this 44 billion that is going to go to the counties? Now, I wanted to say this, that you give it to Ruto. The president is a very engaged person on matters. Of that money, 44 point something billion that has been given, 750 million, not billion, 750 million is the government of Kenya contribution, the GOK component. And I am aware that when the president was discussing with the Council of Governors over this issue, the money, he discussed with the governors that in terms of mechanisms to look at this money, to oversight, and where in fact Senate would come in, there are two basic conditions. The first condition is that if County of Tana River is to benefit, or any other counties to benefit from these monies, especially my money, the 750 million that I'm bringing, you must have climate change finance institutions within your county. So what are these? It's like a climate change fund. County climate change fund must be there. So how will Senate oversight? There is a county climate change fund which is already created for you to benefit from this money. So that money, when it comes, Senate will be able to look at that fund and say, look, Governor X, you are given this amount of money, but your climate change, fund was misused this way, you are liable or whatever. So there is a mechanism in which we can oversight that money. The other condition, those climate finance institutions, the other thing they needed to do is to be participatory. For you to access this money, you need to establish or to show that this is how wananchi will participate. The participatory framework. This money, when it comes down before it is disbursed to the ward level, this is the participatory framework that people will have. So in a sense, if Senate is oversighting that money, they will be asking, did you follow your own framework of participation by the public? If you didn't, it means you are just dishing out this money. You sit in your office and you decide what to do with this money without participating, then you misuse this fund. So there's a mechanism that has been sort of agreed. The second major condition that was agreed on this for you to access the climate fund is that you must show in your county that 1.5% of the entire development fund, the development unit of the cash of the budget, the development fund of the budget that you have, because there's the ones for expenditures, normal expenditure, and then the development vote. Your development vote of the entire county, 1.5% must be shown to have been dedicated to climate change fund, county climate change fund. So if Tana River County can show this is the expenditure vote and this is the development vote, and 1.5 of this we have dedicated it to climate change fund, then you will be able to access this 44 point whatever billion that the government is getting, plus the 750 million that Kenya government at the national level is dedicated. So the president has had very serious engagements with the Council of Governors, and I can say confidently here, there is a clear way in which now Senate can come in to oversight those funds, because the conditions set are such that then Senate can come and ask the question, did you follow these steps in utilization of these funds?
Right, thank you.
So I think something is there. It could be improved, but something is there.
Something is there. We can see on the screen there. Today, most of the president will be in attendance, and this is the car that is carrying the president of South Sudan, Salva Kiir. Let's see if he's just the one who will be popping up from that particular car. And you can see some of his handlers or minders are with him. He'll be in attendance today. Yoweri Museveni will be there. He'll be delivering a speech as well. Guterres at 1:30 as well will have a presser. And this is the quintessential cap of Salva Kiir, as we can always know. He's alighting from the vehicle there. He will be in attendance today. And we shall be giving you gritty details of what will be happening as well. There was a latest development that I'm trying to find out, especially from South Sudan, where he has named James Pitia Morgan, South Sudan's foreign minister, replacing Deng Deng, who assumed the role in March. That is the latest development. You can see him being welcomed there, Faki Musa as well, amongst other delegates, as he comes to the Africa Summit, and other delegates as well will be streaming in. We shall continue to just, of course, give you the gritty details of the program today, subsequent bulletins as well. But here is the President Salva Kiir, the President of South Sudan, who is arriving for the summit today. Dan Mazo, there is an issue that I want us, even as we are finalizing the tail end of the program, and as soon as the President arrives today, of course, everything starts. So any moment. So don't take it unkindly, maybe from me, that I'm interrupting you. So I have the rights as the speaker. You've given me the rights to talk. I shall do that.
No,
But,
Mr. Speaker,
yes,
you should now not blame us. We should have been inside there.
I should release you to be in attendance.
Yes,
Not go after the president, lest you will be locked out for coming in late. But now there's even as we're talking about the 44 billion shillings, the issue of disbursement from the National Treasury has been the biggest challenge so far. And we have Senator Enoch Wambua now coming up with the legislation that seeks now to streamline that with the National Treasury Bill, which seeks to uncouple Treasury from the Ministry of Finance. How expedient would this be? Or how discernibly different would this help, especially with the disbursement of funds?
Yes,
the president of Mozambique as well is arriving there. As we can see, Dan Manzo will be interrupting you, but
yes,
just continue as soon as he steps out. Yes.
Yeah, before I come to that, I want to comment on the Volkswagen issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that, and
you're a fan of Volkswagen.
Volkswagens, and I want to say that German technology generally are very keen on climate issues, and even in their own countries now, if you go, you'll find cities have been zoned. That if you have a diesel car, there are certain parts of the city you cannot access. If it's a petrol car, others are electric cars, and if you are found, there are very heavy fines, which goes to the kitty of conserving environment. And I want to say that Volkswagen project, what happens with the Volkswagen piping system, it has a way of filtering to make sure that the emissions from a VW car are safer in the environment. So what was happening in Thika at that time?
Right, just allow me to interrupt there. We can see Felipe Nyusi there, the president of Mozambique, who is in attendance. But don't be fooled by the water. It is not rain, it is not rainy, so you can't see them, and you're wondering what is happening. There's no umbrella there, there's no so this is just a fountain there that the camera, I think, is behind it. And the car is now pulling away, having just
Where did our yellow car go?
Yes, yes.
Where did our yellow car go?
The yellow car.
It's coming.
We should have been having in the e-mobility. It should have been
next time.
And you realize they're not arriving in buses.
No, that's why we refuse.
They're not holding.
We are taking notes.
You're taking notes. They're not arriving in buses because, as in other jurisdictions, all the presidents are lumped together in a bus.
But
maybe it should have been an e-mobility bus.
But the president refused that and came out and really spoke about it. And the last time he traveled, I mean, he was given his own convoy, his own car. It's a good thing. So we are doing what we would want others to do for us. That's what we are showcasing. Yeah.
Well, Dan Manzo was hoping he will see a Volkswagen there, but he's
it's usually for security purposes. But I want to say that so the Volkswagen plant in Thika was in good faith. Let me come to the Wambua bill. There has been a very big challenge in terms of the government will announce we have released monies to the counties and to these, and yet the monies are not yet in the counties. It is stuck somewhere in the system of going to the county. In government there is something popularly known as a yellow paper, which shows that these are your
yellow paper
entitlements. This is what you are going to be paid, or the ministry is going to be using that or accounting. But it may take some time for the money to get there. I am hoping that Honorable Wambua's bill will receive the necessary support and necessary amendments to achieve what he's trying to do. I know Professor Ndungo, the CS in charge of Treasury now, is a very, very experienced Kenyan, a professional in finance matters and economics, and he understands the systems very well. So I believe the senator for Kitui will get the support of the CS and the technocrats, so that it can become automatic that monies entitled to counties do not receive a lot of bureaucracies and processes. And you see what happens when you delay the money. Finally, when it gets there, it has now a problem of procurement. And by the time you procure, then they say there is low uptake of the funds, and then the funds are again retained in Nairobi.
What really happens there? Because I can see,
and the governor will never work, owing to those bureaucracies and technicalities.
It seems that is very deliberate.
Yes,
with the IFMIS being gamed, it is not disbursed on time, so it actually spill over to the other financial year. So you've not utilized the previous financial year's resources. It has to go back to the National Treasury, and the same game continues.
And the people blame the governor.
And they blame the governor.
Yes, so I believe even if the climate change money is in Makueni County, I'm sure my governor is ready. Mutula Kilonzo Jr., and I'm sure the whole team in Makueni is ready for this. We have a very good environment minister who understands the whole issues, and we believe everything is going to be okay in Makueni and other counties for that particular money. And also when now this Wambua's bill goes through, it's going to ease the arrival of monies in the counties. And again also, we need to check the corruption in the counties to make sure that there is a proper utilization of the climate change funds and the other monies which go to the counties, so that monies are not lost at the counties. There is no accountability, and the Senate is up to task.
Thank you.
To make sure that all the
allow me to interrupt, because I can see Macky Sall also, the Senegalese president has arrived, and there he's just being given a hearty welcome and being shown to the plenary. Most of the president will be speaking today. Just remember, yesterday was just a preliminary ground being set up, but we'll hear from most of the invited presidents here in the country. Over 20 presidents will be in attendance today, 20 heads of state, and amongst them also is Yoweri Museveni, who will be speaking as well. Inside you can see they're still filing in, and most of the seats are empty, but as soon as that starts, and we have also the head of state of the Republic of Kenya, this is Dr. William Ruto, and the national anthem, of course, is played. Then we shall be crossing over there to just give you this live to wall-to-wall, wire-to-wire live coverage that is happening from KICC. And we continue pace with the latest developments regarding also counties and how they're going to be affected by climate change, funds, how also that is going to discernibly change things on the ground, and even how it's being accounted. And this is what Dan Manzo is speaking to with other also legislators that we have here regarding the National Treasury Bill that is being steamrolled by Senator of Kitui. This is Enoch Wambua.
Yes, so I believe we really want all of us to oversight and make sure that there is delivery in the counties, that there is effectiveness in the counties, and the dream of devolution is lived. Because you see, devolution is very key in developing the grassroots. And also, if we are going to succeed in this climate change issue, the counties have to take a lead, the governors have to take a lead, and the facilitation they are going to get from these funds. The growing of the seedlings is even better and best managed at the counties level, because it also adapts to different climatic conditions, and the scientists and the researchers will be able to say what's the best plan to take care of the environment in different situations. So I believe a lot more is going to happen, and we're going to support Senator Wambua.
Thank you.
So that
well, I'd be remiss if I don't mention also the Deputy President who has arrived right now, and the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, alongside his wife, Dorcas Gachagua, are in attendance. And any moment from now, we shall be also seeing the President, Dr. William Ruto, arriving at the plenary, and we continue apace with the second day of this summit. Rigathi Gachagua has arrived, and of course that is just a bellwether that the President is around the corner to be in attendance today. Dan Mazo, I'll be interrupting. Are you done?
Yes,
let me just come to Tabitha as well. On that particular question, I wanted to raise the issue because even previously, we've had, we wanted to chime in on this, but it's on the same note. Because even money that has been disbursed, we cannot also not raise accusatory fingers to the governors, because we'll find these monies, they've been deliberately not spent by the counties. They're being banked to earn interest. And I remember also Kimani Ichung'wah had come up with a bill to try and tame the government's appetite of the monies that are disbursed from the National Treasury being cashed or being banked so that they may earn interest. And this goes directly to the benefits of the governors.
One, let me start by really appreciating Senator Wambua's bill. And as the Vice Chair, myself as the Vice Chair of Finance and Budget, I look forward to that bill, because in our first discussions in this committee, these are issues that came about in terms of the separation of these ministry roles. This is going to help us in terms of timely disbursement of the funds. But I still want to really appreciate National Treasury. You realize that they did very timely disbursement of the last batch for the financial year 2022 2022-2023. It was very timely. I'm happy also as a house, as a committee, before we went on the first recess, before we came back for the special sitting, we had passed the cash disbursement schedule, equitable cash disbursement schedule, very much on time for financial year 23-24. So you find that as a house, for us as Senate, we've been able to timely adhere to the timelines of all the matters cash to the counties or funds to the counties. But yes, there have been challenges at the National Treasury, although we've seen in this last batch that it was very timely. We hope and pray that that trend still goes on and continues on the same. But what is keynote to point is that one of the key pluses that we'll have is that there'll be also timely delivery of the same services, timely delivery of the same quality products to the same different counties for the Mwananchi. It is one thing to do funds allocation as we've done, and it's another to ensure that monies get to the counties on time. If this does not happen, then that is where we get to points of what we call the penny bills issues.
I need to interrupt. We can see the president there, and I think now we should be summing up because it's not actually the president. I thought this is the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Musalia Mudavadi is also in attendance. So, all right, top-notch government officials are coming in any moment from now. The president will be there. So, yes.
Okay. I'm actually happy seeing what we have in our country. It's just beautiful. But just on that, we are also pushing as also a finance committee and saying there should be more increment of the on-source revenue by the governors. We've seen my colleagues have talked about the governor for Gladys Wanga. Whereby she has been able to increase her revenue collection, which is something very positive. So we are also trying to discourage so much awaitance from the national government for grants also. Instead of them the governors should focus on on-source revenue maximally. There's too much in terms of that dependence, which brings about so much corruption issues and reluctancy, because that is the money they're just waiting for. If these monies also go to the counties on time, we also ensure that there's timely salary payments and wages for the staff of the counties. They play a very key role, and if those payments come late, then this issue of corruption trickles in, because someone is waiting for their money which does not come on time, and there are other loopholes of getting finances which now start taking place. In the long run, when this bill comes to the House, we look at it keenly and be able to ensure that it has the bigger goal for the Mwananchi as far as that timeliness is concerned. But I would also advocate that the bill should also have a clause that talks about the on-source revenue. There should be a measure. There should be a capacity. The CRA can be able to help us and be able to see what percentage can be increased. The time we were having that discussion, and you realize that sometimes what the counties can be able to collect is even much more better than what they await from the national government. So there needs to be an emphasis of on-source revenue by the governors, so that now they get from their comfort zones and ensure that they maximally ensure that they collect resources from local, because that was the main whole mandate of also a devolved government. As we celebrate the 12th year of devolution, 13 years, sorry, then this is what we should be seeing increasing as far as their collections are concerned.
Thank you, Senator. Okongo Mugini, maybe your sentiments, and then we should also be getting our headline thoughts.
I've been looking at this picture and asking myself, why did we come up with devolution if this remains the only convention center this country has? Can you imagine? Because how I wish this was
in
a convention center in Nyamira County. As receiving these dignitaries. Because that's what devolution was meant to do. Devolution was meant to devolve power, resources, facilities, and everything. This building was put up in the 60s, in the 60s, but there is, all of us here, Makweni, Tanariba, there is no county that can say we have a convention center, we are going to host a big meeting of this magnitude. It should be a wake-up call to us that we are yet to really see the true fruits of devolution. I mean, this is what you need to see, that you can have meetings when you go to the US, the states will, all these big meetings move around many states. It's not just Washington that hosts this meeting. Even if we go to Australia, the same thing. So we need to now decentralize these facilities back to the counties. As to the bill by Wambua,
yeah, but I think that is, before you even speak, I think you're raising something. You should challenge the county of Tana River, Kisumu. I think they're coming up with a convention center so that we can actually deploy all these conferences. Earlier on, we saw Kisumu was hosting the Habitat Summit, right?
Many things,
yeah.
you know.
Afro cities.
Yeah, the Afro cities. Yeah, you can come up with those innovative.
This is the only way that you will really make Kenyans now feel devolution.
And you don't have to have a convention center which is concrete. You can put up a tent. It's just being innovative as you wait for the convention center to be there. Just have a good dome.
And not just a convention. You know, even the proposal on NHIF, when you're talking about referral hospitals, the governor should be thinking about having serious referral hospitals with specialists. When you talk about Nyamira referral hospital or Tana River referral hospital, that should be a hospital that can deal with a complicated case. You know, you saw what happened in Canberra, where the doctors removed some
worms,
some worms from somebody's brain.
Yeah.
You know, and they could track that somebody ate grass, that worm went to the stomach, moved to the lungs, spinal cord, and to the brain. I mean, I'm waiting for days when I'll see, you read news, this is happening in Tana River Referral Hospital or Nyamira County Referral Hospital. Because we don't need to send our people all the way to Kenyatta National Hospital, Dubai. Yet, year in, year out, we are sending a lot of money to counties. I mean, look at the cash disbursement schedule and see the amount of money that is going to counties. Yet, the Constitution has said health is a function for governors. Go and pride yourself with that function. Showcase yourself. Take care of the health of your people.
Kisumu County, we had the governor being operated at the referral hospital there, isn't it? The spinal cord the spinal cord operation surgery that was done on Governor
you know,
Professor Anyang' Nyong'o.
That's the way. You know, if you look at why NHIF has never worked, all the money we collect, the 78 billion that is collected annually, bulk of it goes to private hospitals because we never go seeking health services from our public hospitals. So we collect this money instead of, you know, sending this money to our public hospitals. We are paying Nairobi Hospital, we are paying Aga Khan, we are paying Nairobi West, we are even paying people going to India. You know, but if we had good facilities, Dubai, we'll realize universal health care because the money that we contribute through NHIF will go to support our county referral hospitals. We have good facilities, expert doctors there, you know. That way you can now grow universal health care. But if all we are doing is to collect money and giving it to private hospitals, we'll always get it wrong.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's leave it at that because I don't want to cut you short unceremoniously and just get our headline thoughts so that also you can have time to go and be in attendance as well for the summit. Your closing remarks.
Yeah, my closing remarks is we should support the bill by Senator Wambua. And in fact, we need to agree that the Constitution has not been implemented fully. You know, Article 202 says that the monies, the national total revenues that are collected should be divided between two levels of government, the national government and the county government. And unfortunately, the current CS for the national government is the minister for the president. It's not the minister for any county government. So obviously, when he is dividing, he will think more about his own government than our other governments. 203, Article 203 says not less than 15% of the national cake should go to the county government. So what we are saying is, let's say 50 billion is collected in this month of September. What Enoch Wambua's bill is saying is that national treasury should be separated from the Minister of Finance. This is a minister for Ruto. It's not for all of us. It's for Ruto. And now our CECs for finance should be treated in the same level. In this sense, that the National Treasury, if it received that 50 billion, 65% automatically goes to the Minister for the national government. And the 15% should go automatically to all the CECs finance. So that when they need to have disbursements, National Treasury doesn't give special treatment to the minister or at the National Treasury. So the Treasury should be for all of us. That's what that bill is saying, and it is a product of the discussion we had in a retreat between the COG, the county, the governors, plus the senators. They complained that we are not getting money in time, and therefore we are not able to carry out our duties. And you come and tell us we are wasting money. But the reality is that we are not getting money in time to do procurement according to the law. So I think this bill will change the whole thing. I expect that national government will not be very happy. There will be resistance, but we hope some discussions and agreements will be made so that this treasury should be understood as belonging to the two levels of government and not belonging to one level of government. If that is achieved, then governors can be getting their disbursements in good time, according to what is collected. Not all the money collected, and then the minister at the treasury decides, now ndio nitawaachilia. Then these guys are complaining. How come in September you collected, we didn't get anything, February we didn't get this, but then you release all of it at the end and then we are not able to do procurement. We have to thank President Ruto, because for now he has been on time. But you see, it should not be dependent on the president who is there. What we should do is to create a law
for posterity.
For posterity.
Thank you. Thank you. Dan Mazo, your closing remarks.
Yes, well, I think this finance issues related to the counties are long overdue, and it is a time we became efficient and the monies were channeled directly as this bill proposes. I'm sure it's going to be improved, and I believe the government will not oppose it. It will be a private member's bill, nor will it be delayed in the systems so that eventually it is overtaken by time. It should be expedited so that monies destined to the counties goes straight to the counties and is taken care of the counties and is accounted for in good time. Otherwise, I think it's a good effort, and I hope the government supports it, because a lot of times when a matter has been brought by a member of opposition, a private member's bill, then the government guns, against that bill. So I believe this one should be supported by the whole House, so that there are no members opposed to it, so that devolution can be more efficient.
Right, thank you. Senator Mutinda, finally, closing remarks.
Yeah, I want to support my colleagues in terms of the bill. We await, and I'm happy I'll be part of the committee that looks at it much more keenly. But I want to do my final remarks by just saying that I look forward where we can have a tree planting day in this country, and also a walking day in this country, such that we live our mobilities in terms of the vehicles. Like you see, like my colleague Senator Manzo is a collector of cars. He has a chance. When you actually asked him about the Volkswagen, yes, he loves the car discussions, and also
his eyes popped out, so he's just bugging out.
Very passionate about cars, especially German machines, and so it's good. I look forward. We'll have a free day, walking day. We can walk, and Manzo will leave all his collections back there. So I'm also optimistic. I'm also priding being a Kenyan and having climate summit in our capital city. It's a good thing. It's wonderful, and I want people to embrace and plant a lot of trees. Any tree you can be able to plant is a generation. I want also to close by echoing the sentiments of Wangari Maathai, the Green Belt movement founder, whereby she said that let us plant trees, not only for us, but for the generations to come. And here we are, the reality is here with us.
Thank you. Senator Kongo Mogini. I saw Senator Sakaja arriving there, the Senator of Nairobi as well.
The governor.
The governor. The governor. Yeah, the governor.
In trouble. Yeah, I didn't know these are the life of Senator Manzo. I think there are things he tells you, but he doesn't tell us. I think Wambua's bid is good, but I can tell you, the government, successive governments are never for devolution. So I'm sure down the line, the government will oppose this bill. It's a very good bill, but you can mark the date. I'm sure that the government and those who support the government, they will not support it, not see the light of the day.
Thank you.
For the conference, Dibal...
let me appreciate and acknowledge the presence of the First Lady as she's arriving there, tripping up the stairs to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, being received by the delegates there, including Macky Sall, officials of the African Union, who are the organizers of this event. And any moment now, the president will be arriving. Senator Kongo Mogini, so sorry, before the president comes.
I want to speak to Kenyans now. Please extend our usual Kenyan hospitality to our guests. This is a big conference. There are many guests in town. All Kenyans should be friendly to our visitors, be hospitable, treat them well. We want to have a good name. We want to see these visitors coming back. So if you are a taxi driver, you're a hotelier, you're a police officer, please keep our name high.
Indeed.
Take care of our visitors so that when they go out there, they can be good ambassadors. There's nothing as good as a repeat visitor. You know, if from this conference we can build our tourism industry, we have people who say, Kenya was a beautiful place, was treated well, hospitable people, and they come back. That's our joy. So Kenyans, chungia sisi wageni vizuri so that they can come back again.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right, the president of Rwanda is arriving, Paul Kagame, and Senator Tabitha Mutino was talking about walking. We should dedicate a day. I think Rwanda has been fast out of the gate to do this, where the president, every Saturday, they tend to walk and clean the city. When we talk about clean environment in Rwanda, convoy. Yes, they are leading. When it comes to convention, Rwanda are leading. And in fact, we saw earlier today in the New Times, one of the publications from Rwanda, that Rwanda's tougher forest bill stars public debates. There's a bill already there which prohibits harvesting, use and sale of immature trees. And President Kagame has been on the forefront of making sure that his country is climate smart and people adhere to cleanliness as well. And also the environment, social governance is very key when it comes to people, planet and profit. That also is very observed keenly in Rwanda. He is in attendance today. We shall look at the program, if at all he'll be speaking today. But also, just to remind you as well, we'll be having the Secretary General of the United Nations, that is Guterres, Antonio Guterres, will be speaking today. I reminded you that we are in a global boiling moment.